In an age where even your Amazon cart can cause a political uproar, few corporate decisions have rattled the Trump White House quite like a seemingly simple one. A reported move by Amazon to show consumers exactly how much of their purchase price is going toward tariffs. This report dives into why Trump is so angry, what Amazon's decision could mean for American consumers, and how tariff math actually works, even when the politics try to obscure it. For years, Trump has insisted that his aggressive tariffs on Chinese goods are forcing China to pay, but economists, and now Amazon, suggest otherwise. If Amazon were to follow through with showing the tariff costs beside product listings, it would expose a simple but politically dangerous reality. Tariffs are taxes on imports, and they're paid by American companies and consumers, not by the foreign governments they target. Here's how it plays out. Imagine a container of goods from China arrives in the US with a value of $10,000. Under Trump's 145% tariff, the importer, usually a US-based business, would owe an additional $14,500 in taxes before the product ever hits the shelves. That makes the new total cost $24,500. Let's say those goods were going to be sold at $25 per item. To maintain profit margins after such a steep increase in cost, the seller may need to raise prices to $50 or more. That increase isn't absorbed by China. It's passed on to the American customer at checkout. So while Trump claims that he's taking money out of Beijing's pocket, the evidence shows he's reaching into yours. According to reports, Amazon was exploring a new feature that would break out tariff-related surcharges and show them directly beside product prices. For consumers, this would make visible a hidden cost they're already paying. It's a move toward clarity, not politics. Other retailers like Temu and Shein have already introduced similar practices. Their checkouts now include line items for import taxes or surcharges related to trade policy. Many consumers have welcomed this transparency, saying it helps them understand where their money is going. But Amazon's consideration of this feature triggered immediate condemnation from the White House. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt accused Amazon of launching a politically motivated attack on the president. She even went so far as to question why Amazon hadn't done this during the inflationary period under the Biden administration, and tried to tie the decision to pro-China propaganda. Yet, for most economists and policy experts, the issue wasn't about politics, it was about information and the power of data. If American consumers saw a clear breakdown of tariff costs, it could undermine Trump's narrative that China is paying for his trade war. One analyst put it plainly, if consumers finally see that they're the ones paying, not the Chinese government, Trump's entire tariff story crumbles. While American consumers are expected to shoulder the cost of these tariffs, Trump recently issued a selective exemption for the U.S. auto industry. Specifically, his administration announced that the 25% tariffs on imported car parts would not be compounded by additional steel and aluminum surcharges. This doesn't remove the tariffs entirely, but it softens the blow for automakers. It was presented as a way to support domestic manufacturers and prevent price spikes that could damage the economy. Auto industry executives were cautiously supportive, relieved by the break, but still concerned about the long-term unpredictability of Trump's trade agenda. Car prices are still expected to rise, just not as dramatically as they might have without the exemption. Trump has called his first 100 days of this term an economic success. But the numbers tell a more complicated story. The S&P 500 fell by nearly 8%, the worst performance for a new president's first 100 days since Richard Nixon. Bond markets, the dollar, and investor confidence all showed signs of strain. And the administration's trade tensions with major partners like China, Canada, Mexico, and Europe have injected uncertainty across multiple sectors. Some analysts have labeled it 100 days of uncertainty, a reflection of the mixed signals coming out of Washington where policy announcements often clash with economic fundamentals. Even in manufacturing-heavy states like Michigan, where Trump enjoys strong support, some voters admit they're feeling the economic pressure. They've seen their costs go up, their purchasing power decline, and their businesses slow down. But many still say they trust Trump's long game. Some supporter, "Nobody likes to pay more, but in the long run, I think it's going to be good." There's a broader legal and political story here too. Trump's aggressive use of tariffs, and his reaction to being challenged on them, fits a wider pattern of consolidating power. Unlike previous presidents who pushed constitutional limits during times of war or depression, Trump is doing so during relative economic stability and peace. Despite having a Republican majority in Congress, he has passed fewer laws than many of his predecessors and often bypasses traditional legislative processes. The fight over Amazon's price transparency reflects this centralization. It's not just a disagreement over numbers, it's a question of whether dissent, even something as basic as showing the cost of a tax, will be tolerated in Trump's America. If Amazon and other retailers follow through on breaking down the hidden costs of tariffs, American consumers may finally understand just how much they're paying for protectionist trade policies. And once that happens, the politics of tariffs may never be the same. Because in the end, this isn't just about price tags. It's about truth, accountability, and the power of transparency in a political landscape increasingly defined by distortion. Thanks for watching.